Grandmama, you already at it?
I am, y'all. Today we are going to make something Southwestern, or it's what I call Southwestern. Y'all bear with me. Y'all know when I get in the kitchen and start creating, I can go crazy sometimes. So
She can go crazy sometimes when she ain't in the kitchen, let me tell you.
but we are doing pork strips. Instead of chicken strips, we're going to do pork strips, and we're going to do them as low carb as I can do them and still keep it Southwestern. It is going to have a little corn in it, and it's going to have some black beans. But now on mine and Roy's eating thing, we can have beans, and we can have a little bit of corn. So you just adjust the recipe to how it fits your eating style. So I've got a part of a pork loin here, and I'm just cutting it in like 1/2 inch strips. I'm gonna get that piece of fat off right there.
Well, beans are allowed on a low carb load.
Yeah.
It's not keto.
It's low carb load. That's right. All right, and I'm just cutting them like this. The first two pieces I cut a little bit too big, but that's okay. So you just take your pork loin and cut as much off as you want, and then you just cut it in strips, kind of like you would for like chicken tenders or something like that.
I call it pig sticks.
Pig sticks. All right. I'm going to finish doing this. We're going to have fire roasted tomatoes. I'm going to do these in the air fryer, and we're going to coat them in, I think that's enough. I'm not going to do that. All right. I'm washing my hands, y'all, because I just handled that meat. So, now, all right, I put my, that cutting board, since I had meat on it, in a pan of hot, soapy bleach water. Now, I've got a new cutting board here. I'm going to make my my coating that I'm going to do on these. It is original flavor pork panko, pork rind crumbs. Some people call it pork panko. So I'm just going to put some in my bowl here. I'm not measuring this because the amount you use is just according to how much meat you have. So that's probably a good cup, maybe a cup and a half. All right. Now to that, I'm going to use my homemade taco seasoning. I have a video on this because this has no flavoring. This is just your original right here. So I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of my homemade taco seasoning. Now you can go to my channel, Grandma Rose's Open Pantry on YouTube, and look up seasoning mixes, and my homemade taco seasoning mix will come up. All right, now to this, I am going to add a little cayenne pepper. I've got a 1/4 of a teaspoon here, but I don't think I'm going to put the whole. I'm putting like 1/8 of a teaspoon. All right. And I'll mix this. And this is just to your taste. You can put more, or you don't even have to put it. If you don't like spicy, you don't even have to put it. All right.
But you do need to stir it in good.
You do need to stir it in good. And just salt and pepper to your taste. That may be 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. But stir it in really, really well. Okay? Because this really is going to be all the seasonings that's on your meat, because I'm not going to salt and pepper my meat. This is what's in this is going to be the seasoning that's on my meat. And we're going to do it in the air fryer. There's a little clump.
What you don't want to happen is all of your pepper to show up on one piece of meat.
No, that's the reason you mix it up really, really well. All right. Now, Some people use tongs. I cannot use tongs. I have cooked with my hands for 66 years probably. And so that's just the way I do it. So that's the way I'm going to do it this morning. All right. I'm just coating my meat and I'm going to lay it in my air fryer. Now, you do not, when you cook meat in your air fryer like chicken or any other kind of meat and you coat it with flour, you have to spray it with oil. You do not spray this with oil because these meat skins, this panko has enough oil in it that you do not have to spray it with oil. First time I used them, I did, and they were a little bit oily, so I learned from that. So I'm telling you, so you can learn from me. Of course, a lot of you out there already use this anyway, and you know all about it. But those of you who have never used them, there's no carbs in it. It's a great coating, especially if you do it in the oven. Now, I have never fried in oil with it, but I've done it in my air fryer and I've done it in the oven, and it works really, really well. All right, I'm going to be able to put about 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, about 6 of these. So it's going to take about 2 cookings. Now, if there's any of this left when I get through, it goes in the garbage. I do not, but I don't think there will be. As a matter of fact, I may have to add a little bit to it. All right, I'm going to wash my hands. Now, I'm going to put this in the air fryer for 5 minutes. I'll check it after 5 minutes. They're not that thick, so it's not going to take them maybe 8 or 9 minutes to cook. I'll put them in there 5 minutes, check it. If it's brown like I want it, then I'll turn it over, brown it on the other side. So after about 5 minutes, we'll come back and I'll show you what these look like.
Had to add some more panko
I
crumbs.
had to add a little bit more. I did. And I'm going to go ahead and get all these coated so I can get rid of all my meat stuff before I start on my veggies. So I'll just coat these and set them to the side. But I just added a few more panko crumbs, a little bit more of my taco seasoning, and just a tad of cayenne pepper and a little bit of salt to the ones that I added to this. Okay?
Do they make a real spicy hot panko mix?
They make a Cajun panko mix, and I almost used it today, but I wanted the taco seasoning since I'm doing this kind of Southwestern.
Yep.
Now, my favorite of all is the panko. I mean the Cajun. They make Cajun, barbecue, original, and Italian. Now, those are the ones that I have, and those are the ones that I use. They may make different ones. I'm not sure. But those are just the ones that I'm familiar with. And I order mine. I think you can get them at the grocery stores, but I order mine off of Amazon. It's just easier for me. When you start getting older and you do things, you do easy. You do it the easy way.
I'll find out when I get there.
You're older than I am. Only by 2 months, though. Okay. I think I did this just about right. One of them may be lacking a little bit, but that's all right. We'll make it work because I'm not going to make up any more. All right, and this is a little piece. This will be just right. Not going to have much coating on it, but it'll be okay. I'm going to get it all up. All right. I'm going to put all this in the sink or the dishwasher. Wash my hands.
How are they looking, Grandma?
They're looking good. This is after 5 minutes.
Wow.
Right here. And I'm not going to turn them over because they're browning on the underside too. So I'm going to cook them for 5 minutes. And well, it's got 4 minutes and 15 seconds. So we're going to cook them for that 4 minutes, and then we're going to check them. All right, in our, got a different knife, y'all. I'm going to cut my onions and my peppers in little chunks, and then I'm going to do them in my little food processor here, my little chopper. And we're going to chop them really, really fine because I want them real fine in my sauce that I'm going to make to go over this. Okay. I love this little thing, y'all. Love it. Okay. See how finely it chops them? Okay. So I'm going to put my onion in here. All right. And I'm going to do some more. I'm going to do about that. That's about 1/4 cup. I'm going to do probably 1/2 cup of onions and about 1/2 cup of peppers. So I'll just put them in my little chopper and chop them up. Okay, and I'm going to do my peppers the same way. You got to get this thing just right. Oh, I forgot to put this on it. All right, you got to get it just right for it to work. You got to get it put together right. Okay. All right, that's going to be about 1/2 cup of onion right there. Now we're going to do our peppers. And I've got a yellow pepper here, and then I've got red pepper. So if I don't have enough of the yellow, then I'll cut some of the red. This is just a piece of one that I had in the refrigerator. Okay. Chop it. My air fryer's just going back there, y'all. It's cooking good. All right. A friend of mine gave me this. I absolutely love it. But y'all, you see this rubber band? It got a little crack in it. So I just put a rubber band around it and it works perfectly. So, all right, I'm going to get a little piece of this red pepper because I want about 1/2 cup of peppers and 1/2 cup of onions. Okay. And I've got tomatoes out here, but I'm going to put those fresh tomatoes over it after we take it out of the oven. Okay, that's about 1/2 cup of finely chopped onions, 1/2 cup of finely chopped peppers. All right, my air fryer is about to go off. Just to be sure and know how long I need to cook these, I'm going to measure the internal temperature. Oh my, look at that.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, y'all. And the internal temperature is 166. Perfect. Okay, these are ready. So, okay, these are the tongs I was using. I need, okay, we've washed all of this. So I'm going to put these in here. And then I'm going to put my others in. Y'all, I want you to look at that. Oh my goodness. I should have got my casserole dish out. That's what I should have done.
Pig sticks.
Pig sticks.
Looking good.
Yep. All right. Now I'm going to lay these in. And we're going to cook them. What did I cook them? 5 minutes and then 4 minutes? 5 minutes and 5 minutes? I'll figure it out.
5 and 4, I think.
Okay, 9 minutes, and they were done. Okay, I'm going to have to put these. These may have to cook a little bit longer because there's a couple of thick ones in here, and I'm putting more in it. So, it's fuller this time than it was before.
Okay.
All right. It's going to be on 350, and I'm going to cook these for 6 minutes, and then we'll check them. Let me wash my hands, okay? Now then, we're going to finish our veggies. All right, we've got onions and peppers. Honey, if you'll come over here, we're going to make a little sauce for this, and I'm going to do it with fire roasted tomatoes. I thought that would just be really good. And I've got some black beans that I've washed, that I've rinsed back here. And I had a little bit of corn in the in the refrigerator, so I'm going to use some of that. But I'm going to put just a little bit of olive oil in my pan, maybe 2 tablespoons. And I'm going to saute these peppers and onions a little bit before I put my tomatoes in it. So, and then we're going to be using pepper jack cheese today. You can use whatever cheese. You can use cheddar, you can use mozzarella, you can use any kind of cheese that you want to. I had some queso cheese. It was called queso fresco cheese in the refrigerator, and I was going to use it, but I tasted of it, and it's really strong. I think I'm going to have to make a cheese sauce out of it and add like heavy cream or something to it. So it's going to take my oil just a minute to come up. So
could they use Southwest tomatoes in this instead of the
Southwestern corn? That you can use Southwestern corn, but
okay.
I don't know of any Southwestern. They may have Southwestern.
No, I was
tomatoes.
just mixed up again.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and put my peppers and onions in, and I started to grab my silicone spatula, but I've had so many say don't use it with hot oil, so I'm using my wooden spoon today. So see, I learned from y'all too. All right, it's going to take these. I'm going to cook these peppers and onions probably 3 or 4 minutes just to get them translucent. And then we're going to add our tomatoes and cook it for a little bit. So we'll be back. Okay. I've cooked these about 4 minutes. I'm adding my fire roasted tomatoes to it. Now here you can use tomato sauce. You can even use taco sauce if you have taco sauce, whatever you want to use on yours. But I'm going to add, this is a half a teaspoon. I know I put taco seasoning on my strips, but I wanted a little bit in here also.
How much was that? A whole?
That was a whole teaspoon because that was a half teaspoon measure.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yep. Now I'm not going to put any salt and pepper in here because the tomatoes already have salt in them. Okay. Now you can see little black specks like this, honey. Look at this. See, that's fire roasted tomatoes. See that little black right there? Yeah. That's where they fire roasted those tomatoes. It's just another element of flavor. If you've never used them, they're delicious in chili. They're delicious in where you use a regular tomato. They're really good. All right, now to this. I'm probably not going to use all these black beans, That's about a half a can right there. And I think that's all I'm going to put in it. Now this corn, now this is where this is a tablespoon, so I'm putting about probably, that's a third of a cup right there. Roy and I don't have to have a lot of corn, but we do like a little bit. And a little corn goes a long way, so always remember that. Okay. I'm going to let this cook now for about 4 or 5 minutes to blend all these flavors together. By that time, my little loin strips will be ready. And I'm going to show you how, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go ahead and, and grate my pepper jack cheese. You can buy it shredded, already shredded, but y'all know I like to grate my own cheese. So, and there's none going in the sauce, it's just going over it. Okay. This is probably going to be about 2 cups. I don't know how much of it I'll use. All right, because that was about 8 ounces. It was a 16-ounce block, and that was about a half a block. So, all right, I want to get another cutting board here, and I'm going to cut these are little Roma tomatoes. These are going over the top. They're not going on it. So I'm just going to dice them up real finely. I guess that's the right word. Y'all don't have a tomato knife? Y'all, I love my little tomato knife. Don't even know where I got it, but I love it. So after I put this in the oven and let that cheese melt, and that's all I'm going to do. And by the way, I need to turn my oven on, and I'm going to turn it on 400 because all I want to do is melt that cheese. All right, and I'm just going to put this over the top once that cheese is melted, just to give it a fresh flavor. Okay, my air fryer is about to go off. Okay, we'll set these to the side, right there. Wipe off my table. And my air fryer just went off. I want y'all to look at that. Let me stir my... Okay. Now I'm going to put these. I think I'm going to have to put them closer together because I don't want to layer them. Okay. You know what? That one is really thick. I'm going to check it. I know these are done, but that one is really thick. So is this one. Yep, that one's done. Let me check this one. 10 minutes. Oh, yeah. 10 minutes. They should be done. So, all right, let me see. I'm just trying to get this. Okay. Give my sauce behind me about 2 more minutes, and then we're going to put all this together and put it in the oven. All right. I tasted of this. It wasn't quite salted enough. So, oh, that's pepper. All right. So I'm putting a little more salt. I'm putting 1 whole teaspoon of my taco seasoning in it. And Roy and I like just a little sweet to our taco, to our, so I am going to put, this is a half a tablespoon measure. So I'm putting 1 tablespoon of my, of stevia in it.
No sugar added.
No sugar added. No. Okay. I'm going to taste of it, see if it's got enough of my spices now. And if it's just like I want it. Perfect. All right, y'all.
You wouldn't lime it.
I am putting just like, this is a third of a lime. I'm putting just a little bit of lime in it, just to kind of wake it up and give it that burst of just a little acidity to it. All right. Now, I don't want this to be soupy because I don't want my my panko crumbs on my meat to get soggy. So I just want it to go over the top of them like this.
You don't want it to boil while it bakes, do you?
No, no. All right. My oven is set on 400 degrees. Okay. Now, I am going to.
Y'all want to look at it?
Okay. I'm going to put my pepper jack cheese over the top like this. Doesn't this look good? Okay. I decided to put a few tomatoes on my dish here and just roast them a little bit while the cheese is melting. So they're going into a 400-degree oven. Might take it 10 minutes for that cheese to melt, and then we'll be back and we're going to taste this for y'all.
I've never seen a whole bed of Southwestern pig sticks before going in the oven.
You're going to see them this morning. All right, y'all. 12 minutes. I put it on 10 minutes. It wasn't quite as melted and brown as I wanted it. So I put it on 2 more minutes. Y'all, this is 12 minutes. You got to take it up there so they 12 minutes on 400 degrees. Okay, that's good.
This little piggy went to the oven instead of the market.
All right. Now, I don't know that I'm going to put fresh tomatoes on it because the ones that I put on it look like they'll be enough. But I've got some here in case anybody just wants a fresh flavor of the tomatoes. So I'm going to go right down in here. And I think that's 2. Y'all.
Wow.
Look at there.
Wow.
All right. Honey, it's hot as blue blazes.
The formal name is Southwestern pig strips, pork strips.
I'll name it. I don't know yet. But
my nickname is Pig Sticks. This is a bit of pig sticks, Southwestern pig sticks to me.
Okay. I'm fixing to taste of it.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't get any of the. I know it's going to be delicious because that sauce is so good. It's hot, y'all. Oh, it's hot. It just came out of a 400-degree oven. Y'all.
beautiful for your family or guests. Wow.
Now it's a little spicy. Not for me and Roy. But if you don't like real spicy stuff, my apron's crooked. Cut back on the cayenne pepper. I think I put like a half a teaspoon. I'll have to go back and check my video. Or don't even put the cayenne in it because my taco seasoning is a little spicy. So if you don't want any extra spice, I'm gonna get a few of these fresh tomatoes.
Those hot ones are good, let me tell you.
Oh, I know. Y'all, this is really good. And it's really easy. Definitely put the fresh tomatoes. They just give it a little burst of freshness. And that lime juice I put in there.
That is delicious.
Really adds to it. Y'all, this is good.
And it's all low carb load for us. Now, you might, because we didn't put much corn in it all, but you can leave the corn completely out if you like.
You may not can have the corn, but we can. So we don't eat it often, but every once in a while when I make something like this, we do. And we can definitely have the black beans. We can have any kind of bean, just about it. So, food feeds the family, family feeds the heart, God feeds the soul, and these are so tender, Roy's just cutting with a fork. Y'all please make this. Because it is really, really good. Love y'all. See you next time.